What's up everyone? October is packed with 22 new games hitting GFN, including Throne and Liberty, and some big surprises coming later this month. But there's one name that's got everyone talking: Call of Duty Black Ops 6 joining the service, but skipping out on Game Pass. We've even got a comment from Ubisoft. Stick around for all the details on that and more as we dive into this week's GeForce NOW lineup. First up is Throne and Liberty. You might have noticed it snuck into the GeForce NOW lineup a few days ago. No announcement, just a stealth launch. So, what's the buzz? Set in the expansive open world of Silesium, Throne and Liberty offers a unique experience where you can scale mountain ranges, explore sprawling plains, or even scan the skies for hidden threats. With its focus on both PvP and PvE gameplay, you'll need to adapt your strategies as the battlefield shifts around you. Weather changes, time of day, and even other players can impact your fight as you attempt to defeat Khazar and secure the throne, all while keeping rival guilds at bay. Despite pulling in over 300,000 concurrent players right out of the gate, the game's launch has seen mixed reviews. But hey, since it's free to play, it's definitely worth trying out for yourself to see if it clicks with you. Next up is Sifu. It's been on GeForce NOW for a while, but if you haven't had a chance to try it yet, and you're a PC Game Pass subscriber, now's the perfect time to jump in. Sifu has been praised for its smooth combat and unique aging mechanic, earning a solid score in the 80s on Metacritic and plenty of positive reviews. Each time you're knocked out, your character ages, gaining more power but losing health, making it as much about careful strategy as it is about reflexes. With its positive reception and challenging gameplay, it's definitely worth checking out if you're looking for something different to play this week. Moving on, Bear and Breakfast is bringing some light-hearted fun to the lineup. This quirky management sim lets you run a bed and breakfast in the middle of the woods as a bear. Yes, you read that right. You'll be renovating cabins, welcoming guests, and trying to keep everything running smoothly. And the best part? It's completely free on the Epic Games Store this week. Next, we've got Monster Jam Showdown. If you're into monster trucks and over-the-top action, this is one to keep an eye on. It's all about smashing, racing, and pulling off insane stunts across a variety of stadiums. With its arcade-style gameplay, it's perfect for fans of the Monster Jam series or anyone just looking for some chaotic fun on 4 gigantic wheels. Rounding out this week's lineup is TerraTech Worlds. This sandbox-style game is in early access, so expect new content and updates as development continues. It's all about building, battling, and exploring in a world where creativity is key. You'll be designing custom vehicles, constructing structures, and navigating through different biomes while taking on various challenges. Now, let's dive into what's coming for the rest of October, starting with the big one, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. This highly anticipated entry is joining later this month through Steam and Battle.net, but here's the twist. The Game Pass version isn't listed as coming at this time. That's got a lot of people talking, and we've got a comment from Ubisoft on the situation coming up at the end, so stay tuned. But hey, it's not just about Call of Duty. There are some other pretty big games hitting this month. MechWarrior 5 Clans drops on October 16th. Perfect for anyone who's into blowing stuff up in giant mechs. Then, at the end of the month on October 29th, we've got Life is Strange Double Exposure. If you're into story-driven games that hit you right in the feels, this is the one to watch. And RPG fans, Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven is heading to GFN on October 24th. It's great to see Square Enix continuing their support on the platform with another classic RPG, but it makes you wonder, when will the other Final Fantasy titles show up? With the Pixel remasters just landing on Xbox, maybe we'll see them on GeForce NOW soon too. Fingers crossed. While we wait, there are plenty of other games coming to GeForce NOW this month. Does anything tickle your fancy from this month's games? Now, circling back to Call of Duty Black Ops 6, we mentioned earlier it's not coming to Game Pass, and here's why. Ubisoft secured cloud streaming rights to all Activision Blizzard titles for the next 15 years as part of the Xbox and Activision Blizzard deal, but it's all a bit loosey-goosey right now. For example, Diablo 4 is playable on Game Pass, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 isn't. It's a bit of a mixed bag, and we're seeing some titles pop up while others are missing. We reached out to Ubisoft and their response was, unfortunately, we can't share any info at this time. My gut feeling? Call of Duty will land on Ubisoft Plus later this year and become playable through GeForce NOW. With Assassin's Creed Shadows being delayed, this could end up as Ubisoft Plus's big release for the season. Want to know more about the Activision Blizzard and Xbox situation? click the card above or check the description for our full video breakdown. And for more on the Assassin's Creed Shadows delay, catch last week's GeForce NOW update for the latest info. Now let's talk about some big games that haven't been announced for GeForce NOW this month. First up, Silent Hill 2. No surprises there, as Konami hasn't shown any interest in the service yet. Next is Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero. Unfortunately, this one's a no. Bandai Namco's track record with GFN hasn't included their flagship games like Elden Ring, so it's not looking likely. Metaphor, ReFantazio, and Sonic X Shadow Generations are also very unlikely. Sega mainly brings strategy games like the Endless series, while their action and RPG titles tend to skip GFN. We've also got a new Redacted game from Krafton, but since their other titles haven't appeared on GFN, it's safe to assume this one won't show up either. Finally, Dragon Age: The Veilguard. EA has been quiet about bringing new games to GFN. With Fallen Survivor still missing, Dragon Age is probably a no-show until at least next year. These are our thoughts, and we hope we're wrong. But based on what we've seen so far, this is what we think. Hopefully, GeForce NOW surprises us and brings some of these titles sooner rather than later. Alright, we've covered the big games and the complicated Ubisoft situation, but there are still a few surprises left to talk about. And here's a cool new feature worth mentioning. GeForce NOW just updated the account portal, letting members check their playtime details and gaming history directly in the portal, but it seems like this is part of a bigger move for the platform. GeForce NOW has been adding more platform-like features, not just for players, but for developers too. With the GeForce NOW SDK, developers can integrate their games more seamlessly into the cloud, run playtests, debug issues, and even deploy pre-release content securely. It feels like Nvidia is building out a full ecosystem to make GeForce NOW a bigger platform, one that could start to rival what we see with Steam or Xbox. So with all these new features rolling out, it'll be interesting to see what GeForce NOW evolves into. Could this be a sign of more big things to come? Now let's take a look at this month's Humble Choice bundle and see what's on GeForce NOW. First up, Remnant 2 is in the bundle, and it's already on GFN with a new DLC that we talked about last week. If you're into challenging shooters with a unique style, it's worth a try. Persona 5 Strikers is in there too, but don't expect it to show up. Atlas titles tend to skip the service. Yusan and Station to Station are both available, so you can stream them immediately. Dome Keeper is another standout in this bundle that's already on GFN. It's a fantastic mining and tower defense game. I personally recommend giving it a go. As for the others, Jack Move, Remnant Records, and McPixel 3 aren't available, and they haven't opted in yet, so it's best not to count on them coming anytime soon. Overall, it's not a bad bundle for GFN users this month, with a few solid picks to stream right away. And now it's time to highlight our GeForce NOW Game of the Week, Halls of Torment. Recently updated to version 1, this game takes the Vampire Survivors formula and cranks up the difficulty. With a staggering 500 achievements to unlock and a tougher challenge than its predecessor, it's perfect for players who want to test their skills against relentless hordes and unique bosses. If you're looking for a game that pushes you to the limit, this one's for you. With various characters to unlock and abilities to master, each run feels fresh and rewarding. The game's visual style, inspired by classic RPGs like Diablo 2, adds a nostalgic charm, while its increased difficulty ensures you're always on your toes. Whether you're grinding for those 500 achievements or just looking to experience a new take on the genre, Halls of Torment delivers a satisfying and challenging experience that's worth diving into on GFN. But hey, enough about our pick. What about yours? What game would you recommend on GeForce NOW right now? Drop your suggestions in the comments and let's see what the community is loving. And before we wrap up, let's take a look at some great deals for games playable on GeForce NOW this week. First up, Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader. Explore the Warhammer universe as a rogue trader, commanding your crew and uncovering dark secrets. Next, Diablo 4. Dive back into its dark world and slay countless demons. Plus, its first expansion is coming out soon, so now's a good time to jump in. Marvel's Midnight Suns. Team up with Marvel heroes in this tactical RPG that combines strategy with comic book action. Then there's Metro Exodus, a post-apocalyptic shooter where you'll fight for survival across the harsh Russian wilderness. And finally, Shadow Warrior 2, an over-the-top action game that mixes swordplay and guns for some chaotic fun. Alright, that wraps it up for this week's GeForce NOW rundown. We've got Call of Duty skipping Game Pass, MechWarrior 5 on the horizon, and a bunch of sweet deals on Steam. Got any favorites from the lineup or thoughts on the Ubisoft situation? Drop a comment below, we'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and keep an eye out for more weekly updates. See you next time.